You know, I love talking Caitlyn Clark and the WNBA. You're in Las Vegas. What are you in Las Vegas for?
There's a fight tonight being presented by Golden Boy, some prospects I want to take a look at, had some meetings. And even though, I don't cover boxing as closely as I once did, Jason, still important to get out there, see the people, connect with some of the people in the industry, had a good dinner with a couple of people that are important in the business. And, it's really a business trip, believe it or not. There's actually another card tomorrow night presented by the PBC, and I'll be watching that from home. I'm coming home, probably going to leave tomorrow morning at about 6:30 a.m.
Gotcha. Well, I want to drag you into my latest Caitlyn Clark discussion. I'm going to use Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright to do it as well. I want to play you this clip. Cowherd and Wright are coming around to my point of view. They're a little late. They're a little slow. They're still behind the conversation. But here they are arguing that Caitlyn Clark is the biggest star in basketball other than Steph Curry and LeBron James. Play the clip.
How many NBA players are more famous than Caitlyn Clark? LeBron, Steph, absolutely.
Maybe Durant.
That's what I wrote down. KD, maybe. Outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Yes. And I don't think that's close. I think I might have said this to you last year, that I thought the most famous basketball player under 30 was Caitlyn Clark. I don't think it's particularly close. She is demonstrably and inarguably more famous than all of this generation's NBA stars.
Steve, agree, disagree with Cowherd and or Nick Wright?
I'm surprised Nick Wright was allowed to say that. But anyway, in terms of what they said, and you were ahead of the curve, I got to give you credit. They're absolutely correct. We're not talking about skill level. We're not talking about any of that stuff. But there is no player in American team professional sports that has the importance of Caitlyn Clark to the WNBA. Think about it. When LeBron James gets eliminated, which is now becoming the tradition of the NBA playoffs in round one, I would say at least 2/3 of NBA and basketball fans are either overjoyed or they're relieved. Steph Curry loses. It's like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but we'll move on. And it's really interesting. The discussion about the NBA playoffs is all about, man, do we really want to see this small market against this small market? And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of perverse in a sense that most of these people will then tell you the league is fixed every time the Lakers are in the playoffs and make it to the finals. So I think it's an interesting discussion. But there's never been one player that when they go down for an extended period of time, that 98.3% of that interest absolutely evaporates. And I'm just telling you, based on what I've seen, what I know, those fans that are part of that 98.4%, I don't think they have any issues holding off, going on a hiatus, and when Caitlyn Clark is back on the court, just resuming their viewership of that league.
See, I think there's a reluctance. This is where I disagree with Cowherd and Wright. There seems to be this reluctance just to say the full truth, that Caitlyn Clark is the most impactful and important athlete in America today. I don't think we need any of these qualifiers under 30 in comparison to LeBron or Steph. I'm telling you, if Steph Curry lined up to sign autographs at one end of the street and Caitlyn Clark lined up to sign autographs at the other end of the street, I know which one's going to have the longest line. Same goes for Caitlyn Clark versus LeBron James. I know which one is going to have the longest line, and it's not close.
Wow. The impact of Caitlyn Clark is this, that when LeBron James, after the opening game, tweeted, "Great game, way to go," oh, he felt the heat. Oh, he felt the heat, and he became demonized. I'm not so sure any other athlete has that type of impact. And Jason, you're talking about that commissioner that wrote that article, basically patting herself on the back. Can we be honest about this? This is like the Blast to my childhood, 1984 Rams, when Eric Dickerson had over 2,100 yards, still the NFL rushing record. That is like a guy like Dwayne Crutchfield or Barry Redden. They were the backup running back saying, you know what? We were a great rushing team. I was part of a running back room that was one of the greatest rushing attacks in National Football League history. Yeah, basically it was Dickerson. Let's be honest about it. And I am not kidding when I say this, and I'll give myself credit. I said last year that if the WNBA gets a new logo, we know who it should be, Caitlyn Clark.
I'm going to double back on this, Steve, because you're as reluctant as Cowherd and Nick Wright. I'm going to double back. Steve, I want you to think of it this way. The WNBA is really bad product.
Yes.
I'm just when Angel Reese and her lack of skill is celebrated as a great player. Let's say 25% of the players are covered in god-awful tattoos. There's another high percentage of them that's got these fake eyelashes and bogus wigs hanging off their heads. They cape up for George Floyd and for Black Lives Matter. The players are really unlikable. They're tatted up and look unfeminine, and the skill level isn't widespread enough for the games to be that compelling. Caitlyn Clark, one single player, has made this league tolerable and watchable. There's no other athlete. LeBron James, Steph Curry, the NBA was a moving train that they jumped onto, and you could argue LeBron James has slowed the train down, and that Steph put a little gas in it and sped it up while LeBron was slowing it down. But this is what Caitlyn Clark is doing is more impressive and incredible than what Tiger Woods did for golf, a relatively boring sport, but at least people weren't tatted up looking like they just got out of prison, and at least they weren't, expressing all this hatred toward American culture. We've never seen someone pull this bad a product and make it watchable and make it interesting and willing to be discussed.
Well, Jason, we talk about golf. At least the PGA, and I'm not a golf fan, I never got into the Tiger Woods thing, but at least that sport had American icons like Ben Hogan, Arnold Palmer, and the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus. So, and I know the WNBA's had players that have been good. No one cared, let's be honest. So let me draw this analogy. The WNBA is that really bad restaurant. I mean, outside, it's got like a C or a D for the health rating. The Yelp ratings are all like 0.9. Nobody really likes to go. But they have this one dish that's really good. The Caitlyn Clark meatloaf. Let's say the meatloaf is really good. There's something about that meatloaf. That particular plate of Caitlyn Clark is really good. People line up for miles, and all they order is one thing. The Caitlyn Clark. Bam, it's great. Everything else that they serve is gruel. Yeah, I said gruel. It gives you food poisoning. You get salmonella. You're on the toilet. You're on that porcelain for an hour. And once they run out of the ingredients for Caitlyn Clark and they say, hey, sorry, no Caitlyn Clark available, everyone just disappears. That's what the WNBA is. They're that restaurant.